Hey guys, welcome to another video. And today we are going to be taking a look at Zima OS. And of course, it's been a while since my last video, but since CasaOS looks like it's no longer being supported, I said, you know what, let's look into Casa or Zima OS. It's going to take me a while before I change my vocabulary. Okay, all right. So right here we are on their GitHub. And of course, as you can see, that says that it's ZimaOS public evaluation program. So is this still beta software? Maybe, although they do have actual released programs or products with ZimaOS installed, such as the Zima Cube. So, take that with a grain of salt. So, ZimaOS is evolved from CasaOS and it's built on the released version. So, for better hardware compatibility. So this here is an evolution from CasaOS. And if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I was a fan of CasaOS. But in the last, I would say, year, we haven't seen any updates. And so I asked myself if it was time to move to um, basically Zima OS. And it looks like they are now more and more developing Zima OS and adding more features into it more than they were for CasaOS. Here is basically a feature, either roadmap or comparison. And as you can see here, they're mostly putting all of their time and hours into Zima OS. There is some guides here on how to install it. So, you basically need to enable UEFI in your BIOS. You need to get the installer EMG, use Belana Etcher, and they have like a guide here on how to do it. Once this is done and you flashed it, they do have a little install here, a little video that shows how to install it. So install Zima OS. Everything else, you have to know that it's going to erase your drive, and everything else should be installed. Once it's installed and you're there, you will be directed to this. It's not really going to look like this exactly because I've added a nice background and I've also installed a few applications. But other than that, it's probably going to look something like this. Um, and if you're not familiar with CasaOS, this ZimaOS looks a little too familiar. It looks like CasaOS, most of the same features are here. I would say that the settings app is expanded, but most of the features are here. Now, let's take a look, and I'm going to show you around. So, if I had more than one drive here, there is a possibility to click on storage there and come over here and basically do your RAID. And you have a few options to do your RAID basically configuration. And this is the settings that you have. So I have one installed drive and an additional SSD that I use here. And I've created it to be the storage SSD. And that's pretty much it. One of the best things about this, guys, is that you can manage your drive from here. You can erase it, disable it, etc., and it's gonna disappear from your from your Zima OS. Also, forgive me, guys. It's gonna take me a while before I forget saying Casa OS because I've been saying this for a while. But this is Zima OS. All right. To the network, here you can do a few things such as set up a manual configuration of your Ethernet, which I'm not going to mess with because everything else I've configured through my router. And I do have a wireless card, but it looks like for now it's not enabled and I've not configured it. This is the remote access. For me, I'm going to be using my own methods of doing remote access. So this is not really going to be concerning me. To the apps here, this is where it gets interesting. So remember, I have Zima OS installed on a main SSD, and I have an additional SSD that I use for storage. Now, imagine if I wanted to do the app data and move it to a different SSD or NVMe. you are able to move certain things to other SSD or hard drives. So right now, I can move the app data from from the install the OS HDD to back to the storage SSD. This is an additional SSD that is in my little tiny PC. So this is a very welcomed addition to Zima OS, which I believe was not present in CasaOS. Um, you have a few things there you can do that are very interesting. So here we have your user. You're able to change your password, change your avatar, and create members. Um, don't quote me on this, but I do think that members are probably users. So when you go to create a member, you'll select a folder. You'll say, okay, I want them to do a read and write. You can even add the multiple other folders, which I'm not going to do. But now my computer is actually frozen a little bit because it's trying to open something. Let me go back in there and settings, and it was at the apps. Was it? No, it was actually here, creating members. All right. So yeah, members looks like it's users, but I'm not really sure. I haven't tested it. So once you have this installed, guys, go ahead and test this and maybe go in the comments and tell me what you found. All right. What else do we have here? These settings will open up the main setting. This is the place that we just went. And the general tab is very interesting because this is where you're going to find that they do have a plus option, which we're going to go to. So there is now a plus tier of the Zima OS, basically Zima OS Plus. Now, look what you get. So in the core Zima OS, you're going to get the core features, the client, the mobile app, and the PC app. Then you're going to have the Thunderbolt support, developer mode. We're going to take a look at that. You have a maximum of 4 disks, although there is no check mark that says like you do have it, but I do believe that what you have. And then you have 3 members. And when it comes to ZimaOS Plus, they're doing the unraid type of pricing, where they do have like multiple pricing tiers, where in one tier you will be able to do 4 drives and the other one 8 drives, etc. So this is what they have done. So you have everything in free and unlimited disks and users. Now look at this, guys. The Zima OS Plus, you pay $29 and you get a lifetime license. Now, are they going to be able to maintain this for a lifetime? I mean, that's something that you have to consider when you're making these decisions. But if any company makes a product that you do support and that you do believe in, I believe you should give them some money so that they can continue developing the app, etc. All of the other features here, you do have ZimaOS Basic, and in Plus, they do also exist there. That's pretty much it. And more information, you guys can find it on zimaspace.com. They do have lots of information, such as, if you're interested into the Zima Cube, which basically I believe this product was created to run the main version of Zima OS on this product. So if you're interested, this is where you're going to find all the information. All right, let's go back to the install. Now, I've talked to you guys about the Zima Plus, and over here you do get some device information, which I'm not going to click into because apparently there is some kind of ID that is going to be revealed. But this gives you the version. You can see I'm running the community edition, and you have some custom dashboard or whatever this is. This means basically that you can change your wallpaper. There is no other things you can do. Once you install it, your wallpaper will look something dark like this, and you can change your language, time zone, the 24-hour format. I do live in Montreal, Canada, and my preferred time format is 24 hours. Search engine, I've turned that off. The port, I don't want to mess with that. And the power loss protection, I don't know what that's going to do for me. It's still off. The news feed I don't need, and you can reset. And when you click that reset button, they tell you what are going to be deleted. And you have to input your main password to be able to do this action. And the famous developer mode, which they have developed and implemented here. And I believe in CasaOS, it was like a little app that you could get to, there wasn't much to it. But here, it looks like it's been expanded and you can do much more with this. So in developer mode, you get some features such as join the beta experience. This means you'll be able to get the update notifications for the beta or alpha um, versions. But in my case, guys, as you know, I run few smaller Docker containers. There is no need for me to enable that. SSH access, I believe, if you ever want to use this, it's probably better to enable it when you need it, disable it when you don't need it anymore. HTTPS is very interesting, but for me, since I do use a proxy, I don't need to enable this on local here. DLNA, this is, I don't know if you have noticed that when you open your TV and you go to like browse files or something, if you have like an app like that, you'll find your NAS there is because you have DLNA enabled. So this is very good because if you have a DLNA playback device, you'll be able to navigate. I do believe some TV OSs have like VLC, and VLC will be able to detect your NAS and can browse the files. So do test that. It's very interesting. And you can also do some configs here, the port, interesting friendly name you can put, and you can actually say which of the path that you want to host your media, if you do have some. Samba service, I don't have to tell you what that is. You want to support Samba 1. On some legacy machines, you do have to enable Samba version 1 because it is what it is. Look into it. As you guys can see over here, we do say that you do have lower security with older devices, but if you do have like a Windows XP machine, you might want to do Samba version 1. Multi-channel, this basically to give you more combined speeds. Don't quote me on that. AI search, I'm going to have to look into that. I haven't really tested this, but I'm going to look into it, and it's going to be something that is going to be interesting for us to do test in the future. So yeah, there's a few settings here, but that's pretty much it. Let's go to the App Store, guys. The App Store is pretty much the same. The install is pretty much the same. They haven't changed much. I haven't read the change log, but the App Store is fantastic. You do still have some one-click install. I can do a demo here for you with my favorite application, Memos, and this you can continue in the background, or you can just let it install. And once it's installed, just give it a few seconds, and after that, you'll be able to open it. It's very straightforward. Um, that's pretty much it for the App Store. The files menu is still the same. Here you are able to add LAN storage. This, I believe, is going to be your SMB storage if you have an additional other NAS or shared drives or shared files on a different computer. You'll be able to actually map them here and access them and copy paste different things. The share or the files app has been I think the UI has been upgraded a little bit to actually look good, and it's more modernized in this version. The peer drop is still the same. This helps you basically do like airdrop type of situation here. What else do we have? Do we have the ZVM? Guys, I have not tested this, but I do believe it's fantastic because you're able to just download an OS. This is a tiny PC I'm running this on, so probably not going to be able to do this. But imagine being able to just download an OS and basically have some configs. I probably will do a video on how to run like an OS like a VM on Zima OS. So check back in a few days or weeks to see if I've uploaded. You can also do a custom install, which is very, very nice. I've heard that the settings after is you don't get a lot of configs. Like once you've created your VM, it's not going to be very you're not going to be able to modify a lot of options after that. But running a basic VM, I do believe it should be straightforward. Um, you do have backup. I haven't tested that. That's going to be another thing to do. So you can select your cloud, the LAN, and you can also choose what you want to backup, etc. So this is also another feature I'm going to be testing. So yes, Zima OS is definitely better than CasaOS. One of the other things that I haven't tested is like what kind of OS is this running? Remember, CasaOS, you were able to get the Ubuntu and then install it on top of it. This is a complete OS. So we're going to have to go in and explore and see what kind of features we can do. I did install TTY Bridge. And so this is able to take me to the GUI, but I'm not sure like what kind of things that you can do here. The commands are kind of the same. You can ls, you can cd into things, but I'm not sure if this is going to be good or not, but we'll have to explore a little bit to see like what kind of OS we are running, etc. So, but now you guys don't have to worry about that. It's pretty much the same thing that we had for CasaOS, but this is a different thing where they have done and it runs on their own OS. Actually, let's look it up here. What OS? What am I typing? Give me 1 second. What OS? I'm Googling it, guys. Is Zima OS running on? And kaboom. It says here Zima OS is an independent developed Linux-based operating system designed for personal service. Yes, we know that. Built using Buildroot, a lightweight based, guys, Buildroot. Look at this, guys. Hold on. Let me grab this. Let me grab this for you guys. Apparently, it's built on top of this. Buildroot. Embedded Linux. So this is what we're dealing with, guys. Very interesting. So that explains why I was not able to do like apt install stuff. All right. So yeah, very interesting, guys. So probably nothing to worry about. I mostly care about the interface. So as long as the interface works and the updates works and Docker is still working, I think we should be fine. That's pretty much it, man. There is nothing else for me to share. I still use less resources, as you guys can see. 2% CPU, nothing is running on this, but it still has the spirit of CasaOS, I would say. So yes, thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry I haven't been posting for a while, but we'll get into the grooves of things. Thank you for being here and being a member of my community. Subscribe, like, let's keep pushing. Bye bye, bye bye, bye bye.